nice poles used to come around the yard.
I think there might be a couple standing up out in the garage.
We don't know. Even if I buy a new flag, and this is the way I buy it, I still put it on the old pole that I've got. I mean, I don't hang it like Daddy does. I hang it on a pole, but I still use the old pole. Hmm? Yeah, but you can't find them that way. Only way, because the majority of the people hang this kind of a flag. But that has little rope in it or string in it and everything. Are you the one, Donna? I looked and looked.
I think I give him one like that every year. Each time I buy one, I think I know I've given him one.
I've looked and looked. I can't find it.
Who's that one from, Grandpa?
This is from Cookie.
What is it?
Card.
Well, nice.
It's got a picture.
See her name? Oh, yes, I've seen her picture.
Say hi to Joe.
Roll it. You just ruined your camera.
Well, we got one more here to open.
Your daddy's.
Daddy already
That's
knows.
enough. It's going to break, Joel.
Cookie, big cookie.
That was the silverware out and then.
Especially today, especially for you.
Yeah, that was
love. Donna and Noel. Open it up.
You open it up, I don't know what's in there because Bob bought it. Lord knows what's in it.
Prescription.
Box of
Rainy,
rocks.
we can have barbecue now.
It's a box of rocks.
2 cards.
Oh, it's under.
Look at her, look at it.
Because they ought to like.
Look at me.
She knows the picture when she sees it. She's a smart girl. I haven't talked to her yet.
What do you
I was thinking we should get the barbecue. Go back in.
I don't know anything about the barbecue.
Cliff, you wanna light at Donna's barbecue? It's a gas.
Okay.
We just nominated you chef, Cliff.
Okay.
Honey, shouldn't it be lit for about 15 minutes before?
Sounds funny. Boy, you should see the tenderizing hammer I bought today.
Why, is it solid? Oh, boy.
It's about that big around, mallet like that, you know, with a long handle.
Yeah, where'd you get it? It's price.
The price,
I mean,
it's a
it's
swap meet.
How much?
$4.
It's all solid. It's not
Yeah.
separate.
Aluminum? No,
No.
wood, but it has an aluminum head on it about that thick.
See, I bought one that was all metal.
See?
Aluminum.
Oh, wait a minute, no, I didn't get to see that.
I keep it.
No, wait, I didn't see
That's what
it.
you did for monkeying around.
I know it.
Whatever
No,
you
no, wait. Yeah.
Oh, did you turn this up a little bit?
Take one of all you can eat, right, Grandma?
Yeah. Gosh, you're lucky he gave you one.
He did, he caught my finger in the lid.
Oh, then it stuck to you.
Oh, those are pork chops.
You want one?
No, thank you, Daddy.
Yeah.
I saw her.
You saw
green
her
in the
and she
center
didn't
now?
take any. How many?
It was
did you see?
before.
Oh, Lisa.
She said she took 5.
No, this is Jason said that.
I don't know how much she took.
You didn't, well,
We didn't. Me and her didn't see.
she and I did. My, you're quite a guy, aren't you?
That's a girl, isn't it?
No, that's little Jason.
Oh.
Jason's the boy's name,
Oh,
Grandma.
Well, you never can tell anymore.
Yeah, he's 4. I can say it's 5.
How old are you, Elisa?
6.
Well,
And I'm 6.
Kayla's 6.
yeah, you're already 6.
I'm gonna be 7 and December
These
7.
two live across.
December 7th?
I'm
Oh,
gonna be,
The other one lives
next
next
door.
door.
I figured they all live next door.
I'm 25th.
Let's get out here a little further so I can see you better. All 3 of you.
Some on the other side.
That's not a bad looking 3, is it? Well, I guess Gina's not gonna hurt the flowers too much.
She did.
Did she?
What did she do?
Well, Grandma will speak to her about
And
it.
she pulled the top of them off.
Oh, well, that isn't nice. That's not nice when she pulls the top of them off. But when Grandma sees her, she'll talk to her about it, huh? Okay, that's fine.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye now.
Have a good
Bye.
day.
Thank you, and you do the same, Kayla.
Bye.
Bye.
See you
night being what, 4 o'clock?
Twice last night you went to
I
bed.
know what I heard, but I closed my eyes tighter.
But at least they didn't come to borrow flour and stuff. Boy, you sure haven't browbeat about the flowers. Gee.
Must have wrapped.
Oh, somebody's been at the, I wonder if it is the acacia, the rhododendron.
They said the red flowers, I thought they meant the ones down there on the...
Well, maybe they do. There's petals, there's the rhododendron things underneath the thing.
They're generally stuff laying around on the driveway where they can pull on.
Well, that's the reason I wondered if it was the rhododendron.
Oh, so red ones, right?
It's not, because there's stuff on the driveway.
Well, that falls off.
Oh, okay.
Well, anyhow, I think they're satisfied.
At least they didn't come and steal a lot of flowers, huh? Did you read it, Daddy, about that Mile Square parking mall where where they stole all those real expensive flowers?
Oh, what?
Real expensive plants. This guy just spent how many thousands of dollars doing it and making it looking pretty, and he put plants in there that had taken him 5 and 10 years to.
Mile Square, where?
Shopping center in Fountain Valley. And they,
Out
They
there.
dig up the big ones.
yeah, he thinks it was a gardener that did it, landscaper. Because a lot of that stuff was real rare. This guy himself that planted it had spent 5 and
One of a
10
kind.
years, 5 and 10 years perfecting these, and they were blooming and everything else, and someone dug them up the night before Easter.
You don't know whether it was a gardener or whether these doggone lousy bums that just do
Well,
nothing
no,
but
the
run
guy-
around the country and destroying
The
everything.
guy that put it in thinks it was because they had to know. They took the expensive stuff and the stuff that was scarce. They didn't
They knew what
pick
they
and
was doing.
destroy
They knew what they was doing.
yeah, they didn't just steal stuff or pull stuff up or anything. They stole the rare stuff and the expensive stuff.
Wasn't no use in going after that cheap stuff.
No, there's a $500 fine out for the guy that did it. They catch
Reward,
him.
you mean. $500 reward.
Yeah.
Isn't that
reward.
a shame? You can't
Yeah.
have
I told Bill.
a picking thing anymore.
The stuff was blooming, and I guess some of it was double and triple blooms, and tree azaleas that were massive with blossoms, I guess.
What do you think of the dentist?
Well, he's
They're
left
all
the,
dentists.
flown the coop, hasn't he?
Yeah,
I expect
Was
he-
that your dentist?
His mother and dad.
Don't run my classic
Her mother's.
dentist
Fine.
now.
But you know what?
Or
We knew
office.
he was in a bad way
Yeah.
because on the scanner one night, we have friends that lived up by him, and it was about 1 or 1:30 in the morning, so we didn't hear, but they did. They called the police up there, and I guess he and his wife both really hopped up on something.
Well, he beat
And they had a heck of a time with the two of them, but they recognized him immediately. Yeah, they moved out.
in the night.
Yeah, packed in the middle of the night. Moved out. Sure, and I figured he was going to do that. I just had a hunch, and I told Bill I'm glad I didn't put his bail up. Because whoever did it lost his bail. Will lose it.
Well, I don't know whether they'll be so bad off or not. He's got that big scrolling home overlooking the sea. It's where his
Well,
son
he probably sold it.
But Dad says he bets he
No, I
sold
don't think so.
everything. And
I
you
know he sold his business.
Here,
hair on it is for that luggage.
Oh.
here's a guy that had it made. He was just a young man, and he was a nice, tall, thin, nice-looking guy.
God, I didn't think so. But wears a
I don't know.
purple shirt
Maybe
to
you do.
court for crying out loud, and purple pants. I mean, really?
When I met him, he had a business suit on, and looked quite presentable, and he was nice to talk to and everything. However, I had these teeth made there, and I thought I knew what I was doing. So, of course, we have insurance that pays for our dental. So, I went first and asked what it would cost and everything, and I got a price of $600. So when I went to pay the bill, the girl kept saying something about $700, and I said no. They quoted me a price of $600. And she kept saying, well, how'd she put it? This way?
They presented a bill of $600. You paid it, but the bill said $700. They only charged you $600, so I don't know.
You got company again, Grandpa.
Oh, Grandma's busy now, honey. Who is it?
It's the same kids.
Well, they sit there in that bench all the time.
No,
They just knocked.
they left Dad.
Send them home. Yeah, send them home. They're pretty smart.
So they come and sit on this bench.
Oh, yeah, they don't know where they live. The two little ones live, they just moved in across the street, right off where Grandma and Grandpa. But anyway,
That's cute.
I paid the,
You know that thing ever out of film?
Daddy, Daddy, I paid the $600, didn't it? Didn't I?
But the bill said $700.
But the bill said $700.
And I told them,
And
I went down there,
I told them
to take that other $100 off of there.
I told Dad, I said, you're gonna have to go down and settle that darn bill, because I don't understand what they're talking about.
Well,
But did they take it off?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dad says, I don't want any part of that. He said, take that extra $100 off.
I don't know why they put that on there.
So that they could.
The bill said $700, but they only charged me $600.
But now Eileen has gone to him all this time. I quit.
Your
Because-
teeth never fit.
Because my teeth never fixed.
Well, he never had anything to
anyhow.
do with it.
Well-
We're all technicians.
It was his office. But anyway, I just got tired of going and quit. And but Eileen has gone all this time, and she just thought he was a Jim dandy. And when this came out,
He was a good dentist.
I called her up and I says, what do you think of our high-class dentist?
I just heard on the Merv Griffin show a lot yesterday, or was the day before, that they had this dentist on there that's he
I
had
can't tell anymore.
anesthetic in the dental field. They really should not do this in a dental office. And this is where Porta-Popsis was wrong, that he was doing all this in the
You don't
office.
have to worry about him anymore, because he flew the coop. He's
Yeah.
gone.
I heard
He
that
didn't
one.
sound like it when we went to see him.
Dad doesn't mind staying in bed like that.
He got a little upset when the nurses gave him a bath.
Well, he was dirty. He hated to let him see how dirty.
Remember that night we went in to see him and he was so shook up because the nurses gave him his bath? Oh, God.
No, Dad, he's been to the hospital so darn seldom, and when he finally got there, he thought, Jiminy Kraut, this is a life of Riley. This is just pretty darn nice. He didn't care whether he came home or not.
Then he asked us if he could have bananas, so we went and asked the nurse and if we could bring him a banana, and she said, sure, he can have a banana anytime he wants. Tell him to ask us for it. We'll get one from the kitchen. Here he was doing because he wanted a banana. Oh, that's when you were in intensive care. I mean, really intensive care. The first time. That was the same day Cliff went and sat with you.
Who?
Cliff sat in there with you for about an hour, and the nurses let him sit there.
We own 9/10 of that hospital down there.
You have a good interest in it, huh?
You know, the last time one of them went in there, and it was Mother that went in there, and the nurse's guy was there, and the nurse came in, and Mel had been there, Mother had been there, and Daddy had been there, and she says, you know, she says, you people really don't have to pay this hospital off. buy it, really. There's other people that can help pay for it. That's what she said. Remember that, Daddy?
Yeah.
Really?
When Mother went in there to have those adhesions taken out.
I was there, and Mel was there, and Mrs. Johnson was there.
Yeah.
And Mr. Johnson's down in the nursing home.
And then you left and Mother went in. And by that time, the nurses have begun to think that you really didn't have to buy a hospital.
I think Donna just took Mrs. Johnson down there the other day.
Yeah, that's what you said. Just their ulcer's been bleeding.
Supposed to have a bleeding ulcer. One doctor says she didn't have one, the other doctor says she did. So.
I'm surprised that they haven't put her on a strict diet. She's lost a lot of weight or something, because she hasn't lost any weight when I saw her.
Oh, she lost weight after Mr. Johnson died.
Yeah.
She was pretty chubby there for a while. But anyhow, Donna took her back home. And one doctor said she had bleeding ulcers and the other one said she didn't. But she's always had them, and Donna has a mortal fear that she will, that thing will burst like Mel's did.
She'll have to
They
get
didn't
some
even
of
know that he had any ulcers until that doggone thing out of a clear blue sky one night burst. You could hear Mel scream all from one end of that hospital to the other. Donna was with him, like scared her to death.
She says she thought sure that he had labor pains.
Just screamed to the top of his voice. She says you could hear him from one end of that hospital to the other.
Supposed to went into surgery the next morning, and then the ulcer broke.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in there for those tests on his throat.
Well, he's supposed to have been operated on the
That's
next
right.
day.
And then they waited, what, until, that was in December, they
Yeah,
waited
for
till
3 weeks
February?
after that before they operated on him.
Oh, February, wasn't it? Because he had to get over this ulcer and that stomach surgery and come home and recuperate from that and then go back.
Mel died in November.
Yeah, on Cliff's birthday, the 15th.
Yeah.
A year ago.
And I'll always say, and I'll always think, you know, Dale was here all that day.
The whole weekend.
And, but that last day, Dale went to see Mel, and he just sat alongside of Mel all day long and held his hand. Just held his hand. They talked. Just held his hand all day long until it came time that Dale felt that he should be getting home. He had to go down home. And just at that time, how was it?
He came over here.
He came over here, and I think it was Dick and
Cindy that were here.
Cindy. There was a few of us here, so we talked Dale into going to dinner with. We were all going to dinner, and well, he didn't want to stay because he had to get home. And Dad says it's right on your way home. We were going down out here to Spires, and he says it's right on the way out there, and you can eat here. And then just go on out on the highway and go on home. We'll come back. So we did, and when we came back, why, Dick or Cindy went up and said, well, why don't we go over to Donna's a minute and see how Mel is? And we went over, and there
That's
was...
when Cindy and Dick got
First thing Donna said, he's gone.
Yeah,
He
we
got-
walked in and
Donna's car to take home that night. So Donna was having problems with that car.
Danny and Leslie were there, sitting there at the table, and all three of them were crying their eyes out and everything. We walked in, and Donna said, he's gone. And she says, we've been trying to get a hold of Dale. There's a darn fly in here. I said, he just left for home.
Yeah, because she called us at Cliff's
But anyway, come to
Looking for
find
Dale.
out, he died within 5 minutes after Dale left his lady's hand down. And I just feel that Dale just kept Mel alive for that day.
Because she called the Cliff trying to find Dale.
Oh yeah.
And that's all we knew. And then we called her back and said we'd come over. And she said no. And she wasn't even going to tell you guys.
Well,
That night. And then I said, well, I'd be over the first thing the next morning. And I guess we'd no more than talk to her than you came. But you came, you went over there to get her car. Dick was taking her car home. And that's when that white T-Bird kept breaking down on her. Everywhere it just quit.
Electronic module.
I don't remember whether that's the night.
Yeah, I know it is. And he kept the car for about a month, didn't he?
Anyway, Donna just kept that, she just sat there a while, and the nurse finally came in and she says, oh, I believe he's gone. And Donna never thought, she just thought he was
No,
living.
Donna said she thought he was too. The way Donna told us is that Grandma Johnson came in, and she had been with there, and Donna went in, and she said she thought that Mel had quit, and Grandma says no, he was just asleep. And so Grandma left, and Donna went and got a nurse, and a nurse came in and looked at him and said, well, yes, he was gone, and then that's when Donna came home. But it was about 4 o'clock.
But she sat there. Donna sat there for a while, and just thinking that Mel was sleeping there.
But she tried to get a hold of Grandma Johnson, because that's how soon Grandma Johnson had left.
And I think
She was right there, and she missed her. She'd gotten out of that hospital so fast, she missed her, and she dreaded having to go by there and tell her. But she had to stop on the way home and go by and tell her.
But anyway, it was a blessing. It was sure a blessing.
About the only place you didn't
6'8", I'm talking about 8 and 9 feet.
It's just like the Polaroids. You know how they...
Grandmother, we're gonna have to put mittens on you. That will get infected.
Yes, it will, and it'll start bleeding and everything else.
Well, it's all dried up, ready.
Well, that's the trouble. It's drying up, and you're going to get it all infected again.
Needs to be cleaned off.
Have you seen Chariots of Fire and The Sword and the Sorcerer? That's what's on the movie channel this month.
And that's what
We
I
don't
like
have a
about
movie
the
channel. We can't even hardly get
Having the movie
TV.
channel?
Well, that's why we have the movie channel. We don't go anywhere, so we watch movies.
Watch what's on the...
And then when you have company over,
Yeah.
you know, you have a variety of what you can see. I mean, you can look at the book and
What
say,
time
oh
is
boy,
it?
Mickey Mouse and all that.
It's 10
Well, you
minutes to
got
3.
grown-ups, and you want to watch something.
You
you know.
suppose we
sort
should
out the
wait for
commercials.
Donna, or go
There's no
ahead?
Let's wait for Donna. In case Donna can come, huh? Did you say anything to Donna about going to dinner, Daddy?
I'm thinking of 2 angles. I wonder if...
Is that where you're going?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think you're going out to the airport, are you?
Oh, no, we were going
Yeah.
over to Sisworth.
Yeah. Ready.
He weighed 503
In her own home.
pounds.
It wasn't, yeah.
But you were talking about people that beat their children, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were 9 times out of 10 beaten, or that's why they do that.
And then they beat their children.
Yeah, and then their kids
Yeah.
raise up that way, and then they beat theirs. You know, I mean, it's
Gene.
generation after generation, it's a way of life, and so they expect it.
Well,
Because I have a real close friend, Jim Lundergan. In fact, I worked with him at work. And he's supposedly, by what his wife says, a battered child. And she has to watch him like a hawk with
Keep
their
him away from
kids.
those children.
With their kids.
Oh, I know. It is. It's like alcoholics and everything. It is something
but
that...
you know, now, such treatment as this made me just the opposite.
Yeah.
Me too.
But why I don't
Just the
understand
opposite.
why they don't
We weren't raised gently.
send
Us
them to a
kids
psychiatrist.
weren't raised gently anywhere along the line.
Well, there's
And we finally wound up with a stepmother that
we'll get it clear.
well, we'd have been better off somewhere
There's
else.
a small thin line there though, where you chastise the child and you keep the child so it doesn't have the upper hand, but then there's a small thin line there where you go across and then you abuse them.
I realize
You have to have mental ability to figure this out, and some people don't. They were beaten as a kid, so they figure, hey, I gotta beat mine. And then those that are growing up feel, hey, I was done that way, I gotta beat mine.
No, they have to have
Now,
psychiatric
you
help.
know, I always figured that that Dick would hold it against me for abusing him. Dick was so abused when he was a kid
How was Dick abused?
that it was pitiful.
Uncle Lauren abused Dick more than I did.
Everybody that came to our house to stay,
Yeah.
and all of my family that came there, they thought they surely came there to make Dick all over, you know. And I didn't know it until
What are you saying?
not too long.
Well, the relatives.
While we're here, let's kick Dick?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's just
jeez.
exactly what they did. They did it.
Well, no,